Tu touches un cheveu de mon fils.
Je te tue.
Tu veux ton fils? Viens le chercher.
In this episode of Alpaca Reviews, we'll be discussing part 2 of Netflix's Lupin. Don't worry, this is a spoiler-free section of this video, but I will provide a spoiler warning when we reach the next section. And don't worry, it's gonna be hard to miss. Part 2 picks up right where we first left off, with the stakes already turned up to 11. If we view part 1 as a setup, then part 2 as a whole is a giant payoff. Not only that, this technique of setup and payoff is used in greater quantity and effect within every episode, thus eliminating one of the gripes I had about part 1. The show also manages to maintain the same level of style and pizzazz that captivated audiences back in January. Now, it's not perfect, nothing is, and part 2 does have its blemishes. This is mostly limited to a couple plot choices responsible for slowing down the pace, thus taking away from an otherwise tense and frantic dash to the finish. The show could have also benefited from swapping around a couple sequences of events, again, in the name of fully capitalizing on that payoff. And lastly, it also suffered from not having enough time, only 5 episodes, to properly flesh out every character. This is of course all about Lupin, played expertly by Omar Sly, but not all of his acquaintances are given the same amount of love. An equal share of the pie, if you will. But this can be easily remedied in future parts, of which Netflix and Omar Sly himself have somewhat confirmed.
You were correct. It's fact.
Overall, Lupin Part 2 provides a satisfying conclusion to this caper, one that you should definitely partake in. This is the Spoiler Police bringing you a friendly APSA. That's an Alpaca public service announcement. The remainder of this video contains spoilers. Proceed at your own discretion. If you don't know who or what Lupin is, we suggest you give Alpaca Thunder's spoiler-free review of Part 1 a viewing. It is both riveting and wicked cool. That is all. Peace. Zoom, bing, bang.
And then what happened?
Then I was staring death in the face. But I can't go on.
Yeah. What happens in Arrakis?
Stays in Arrakis. I know, right?
It's neither here nor there.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. So Lupin, eh? Yeah. Okay, so you recommend it, but can you tell the viewers of the Great Alpaca Revolution what it is you like?
You know what streaming platform I really love?
Oh.
Disney Plus.
Like. Like. Send us a like and subscribe. Yeah. You like the show, but what would you have done differently? Anything you would have changed?
Okay, there's a couple things. I mean, the first one isn't really a thing you can change in a TV show. It kind of feels like a Resident Evil in the way that, like, you're in this mansion and you walk into like an office, say, and you're like, there's a ton of shit here. But then you see like kind of like a twinkling thing in the corner, and you walk over and it's like a piece of paper in a room of paper.
Yeah.
But this paper has like 5th floor, 2K7 443. Oh, must be the password to that locker we saw earlier.
Yeah.
Kind of felt like that a little bit.
I get it. So the reason why like it's because it's limited by 5 episodes.
It's limited by yeah. But like, so they go into the jeweler's office. It's a room of paper. They find a paper in a room of paper. You know what I mean? Like there's a desk. There's lots of other papers. He probably has clients. All of those clients, he probably has addresses, names, phone numbers for. But they find this one paper with one address, and they're like,
wait, it's
qu'est-ce que c'est?
This leads me to one of the things I would have changed. The guy that abducts his son. I wish. So they kill him off about halfway through part 2.
I feel like he would have had a really deep story.
It would have been more interesting if at the end of in the last episode it shows Lupin fighting like the head of the security guards. It would have been better if that was the guy that kidnapped his son, because the stakes are higher, right? Maybe at the end of it, Lupin has the opportunity to perhaps kill him, and he doesn't, because that's not how he acts, right? So it would add that extra tension. And you see him do that with Pellegrini. And Pellegrini, I think, was a good bad guy, but I think the way it was set up into the last episode, it loses some of its punch, and I'll explain why. When they reveal that they have an inside man, they reveal it like about pretty much at the beginning of the last episode, which loses some of the impact that you have going into the final act of the episode, because you kind of get a feeling he's going to come out of it okay. Yeah. Remember, in one of the previous episodes, when him and his friend are running through the catacombs trying to run away, there's a lot of tension there. I actually thought for a second, because Lupin's going up the ladder first.
I thought that his buddy was going to get caught. Right. Like in the memory, they were going to come out of it. They were going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
I almost wish that would have happened.
But it almost sets up like something could happen maybe later on. And I think by revealing the mole, their inside man, too early, it diffuses some of that tension. How much better would it have been if, say, the entire time it focuses on the accountant, and you keep like, why does he keep looking at him? Oh, he suspects something. And the whole time it leads you to believe that the accountant suspects something is wrong. And then at the last second, it's revealed the inside mole. And then you show the entire process of how they chose him.
The dominoes tumble.
All you needed to do was change the order of events in the plot, and I think the tension would have been better.
I see what you're saying.
Now it's my turn. I'm going to give you a few seconds before I come. 1, 2.
Okay, the one, like, you were here when I was watching the last episode. The one part that was really kind of like, ugh, was the part where, and I know what they were going for, when Lupin's about to get away, and then the detectives were like, freeze! And then they're like, no, they were like, freeze, Dumas, or whatever. Dumas. They were arresting Dumas. Yeah. And then they're like, you too, Lupin. And then the one guy's like, no.
And then they leave it as that. And I'm like, but they're still detectives,
they
right?
gotta do process. They gotta take this guy and take a statement. And and it's not even that. It's the honor of it, right?
Yeah.
It's that Lupin is a thief, and this guy is a detective. Those are their roles, and he should have been like. And then the line you suggested that they say
so it should have been like, just give him a 5-minute head start. Because, and this has been done in other these kinds of capers, these shows, right?
Yeah.
Right. You have the detective,
the honorable detective.
The honorable detective. It's
he answers to a higher call of justice,
and he's fighting against corruption in the force.
Yeah.
And Lupin, the anti-hero, helps him uncover the corruption and stop the main bad guy, Pellegrini in this case. So his honor allows him to give him a 5-minute or 10-minute head start. But then his moral compass makes sure that he still has to hunt for him. Yeah. And then it creates a good...
And then you know what's kind of hilarious? Once he escapes, the carbon copies of that detective squad, the girl and the 2 guys,
I know, yeah,
chase after him. Honestly, when the girl was like, there he goes! You thought I was like, wait, is that... Her hair's different.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So... Yeah, his disguises. Maybe this is for TV, so we can still see his beautiful face.
Omar Sly played
beautiful. It's like the outfit is here, and they always show his face here, and he's looking at the detectives, and they're like, he's on the 6th floor, man,
on the roof,
and then they're like, okay. None of it really, none of it was really kind of that negative. It was just that one line where I thought, no.
You see, dude?
And then, because then think about what the final scene could have been. It could have been Ganimard. He gets out of his car and he runs to the river with his gun out, and he's like, and then you see the bang, turn around, maybe a little.
I'll get you next time.
And we know that he's coming
because there's respect between the two, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And now the hunt goes on in part 3.
Song.
No. 3.
2. 1.
3. We're going to part 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, part 3.
Oh, but you said part
3.
I don't know why.
Can I just mention too that
Song. Wait, what's 4? Song.
Mundo trois cat. Like a kitty cat. So what'd you think of it?
And then what happened?
Like that? Well, there I was, staring death in the face. Zing, zang, bam! And then zing, zang, bam!
And then what happened?
And then I was staring at death in the face. But I can't go on, I can't go on.
I hear you. What happens?
Okay. Okay. We'll do it again. Okay. So, okay. Let me tell you. Zing, zang, bang.
And then what happened?